Hi friends, welcome back to our communication seminar. Today we will talk about what is effective communication and how do you develop your communication skills. And these communication skills you need everyday life, and mostly for you young guys when you go for various interviews. Now interviews could be let's say your IAS, all UPSC examinations. It could be Service Selection Board of the Armed Forces. It could be your corporate joinings. So wherever you go for interviews, your communication skills is one of the aspects which is being checked. And how effectively can you communicate, how effectively can you speak, and how well you speak, and how well you convince others with your viewpoints. Now, this effective communication, what does it involve? It basically involves a lot of aspects, but we will concentrate on only two things. One is the communication to make other person understand your viewpoint, and second is spoken English. And today we will concentrate more on spoken English because that is the probably target area that we have for impending interviews which we are dealing. Now our group is ready. Facebook, you all are there. WhatsApp groups, you are there. You all interacting, and you will be seeing this also. So let me talk about this spoken English. Spoken English, how do you do it? Most of you think in Hindi and thereafter you translate it and then you speak it. So deliberately you made this complex this process very complex. So we'll simplify it. But people ask me, sir, how do you speak and how do you think in Hindi, English? Now my question is, how do you think in Hindi? Did you learn this language before you were born? You learned this language after you came to this world. Maybe you were 6 months old, 7 months old. Your parents must have recorded your first word that you spoke. That word could have been mama, papa, or anything for that matter. And they were all joyous. How did you do that? This is basically because you were observing, you were listening, and then you were recording this in your mind. And then you started generalizing. Like if I say mama, who responds? So that means that she is your mother. So you said okay, then you recorded this in your mind, and thereafter whenever you wanted your mom, you always said mama, and that means you thought in Hindi and said it, or in any other language for that matter. Or let's say you wanted water, you were hungry, you wanted to eat something, you needed milk, so you wanted, give me, you had to say mujhe doodh de do. Abhi, how did it happen? You heard others saying mujhe pani de do, mujhe doodh de do. So this you recorded in your mind. And thereafter you generalized it. Ki when I say doodh, this comes. When I say food, this comes. So that is how you thought in Hindi. So similarly you have to do in English as well. So you have to listen to a lot of English, try to generalize in your mind, and that is how you will start thinking in English. And translation is the worst way of learning any language for that matter. So you should not be concentrating on that. But anyway, today I am not the only one here who's been talking to you all this. We have in our studio a very learned ma'am who's an expert in English communication. Well, she is Saba, and she lives abroad and teaches a lot of non-native people who don't speak English. She teaches English to them. And let me tell you a few words about her. She is a very dignified and a very educated and meticulous lady. And she has certifications, 3 of them from London. One is for teachers training. Second is there's a certification for adult training from Cambridge University. And she also has a PhD in English language from India. So today she will be answering lots of questions to you. And I would request her that she will make you understand what exactly is communication, what exactly is spoken English, and how do we go and learn it. Okay guys, I will not take much of your time. And we will start asking our expert, ma'am is with us, and we'll ask her questions, and she will enlighten us how exactly to go about this communication. So first question, ma'am, how would you describe good or effective communication from the interviewing point of view?
When we talk about effective or good communication, we have to consider that there are many ways that people communicate throughout the world, including facial expressions, body languages, verbal cues, and so on. So as there are many ways to communicate, it becomes very important to make sure that the message which has been delivered is very clear and it serves the purpose. So, effective communication can be defined as the process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, knowledge, and information such that the purpose or intention is fulfilled in the best possible manner. In simple words, it's nothing but the presentation of views of the sender in a way which can be best understood by the receiver. So we can say that delivering a message, or we can say that communication, effective communication is not just delivering a message. It must be taken care that the purpose is met. So where a purpose is met, that communication will be termed as effective communication.
Okay, ma'am, please tell us as to why and when do we need to be very, very proficient in communication skills?
Mr. Vijay, in order to answer this question as when and why do we need effective communication, we need to first understand that as humans, we are drawn to one another and we communicate with each other in a variety of capacities. Also, that there are several roles that each individual fills on a daily basis, depending upon the context of interaction. So, based on this, effective communications can be the foundation of success in many aspects of life. Many jobs require strong communication skills. So, it becomes crucial for people to be able to communicate effectively so that they are able to do their job perfectly.
Well, having said that, now please tell us what are the greatest challenges that we may encounter to make ourselves proficient in good communications.
Any disturbance or distraction in the way a message is presented may lead to miscommunication. So, there can be many challenges to good communications. For example, challenges involving words, where language ambiguity or disorganized message or a message with information overloaded can be dangerous for communication. Apart from words, they can be challenges involving physical barriers, for example, social distance and noise, that can also lead to miscommunication.
And ma'am, how important is this listening skill as far as the communication is concerned?
Communication skills has four components: listening, speaking, writing, and reading. Out of these four, listening is the most important component. Now, before we go to how important is listening, we need to first understand the difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is a physical process, that's it. However, listening is an active, physical, and mental process. Now, when we talk about listening, it does involve thinking too. That makes it very important. So, we can say that active listening is important in communicating effectively because it shows respect, builds trust, strengthens relationship, and also invokes thinking process in order to respond.
Ma'am, please tell us, are there any ways in which we can measure or assess our effective communications, like how good we are, how well we performed, and how good have we learnt about the language?
Let me clear a myth here first. Some people believe that communication is a soft skill and therefore it cannot be measured. However, studies have shown that it is possible to teach and learn effective communication. Therefore, assessing effective communication is possible. In fact, it is essential. Assessment can be done at 3 different phases as baseline, periodic, feedback, and reporting. Baseline can be the entire timeout. Feedback can be in the form of regular surveys and feedbacks. And reporting can be as the formal assessment where the target is to see whether the message was delivered effectively and the purpose was solved or not. If not, then why? In that, reporting can be a helpful tool to assess effective communication.
Okay, ma'am, please tell us, does this culture, gender, nationality, or even a social class, do all these things have any effect on the way we communicate? And how can we correct them if at all there is any discrepancy in that?
That's a tough one. Yes, culture, gender, nationality, and social class have an effect on communication. See, there is something called as intercultural communication. It's communication across different cultures and social groups. Since each culture has its distinct aspect, intercultural communication can be the cause of conflict or disorder or miscommunication. For example, body language, the gestures can differ from one culture to another culture, which can be effect of miscommunication.
And speaking about these discrepancies, please tell us what role does this things like facial expressions, gestures, and pauses in our talks? I mean, what kind of a role do they play in a good communication, and how can we learn and correct these particular things?
Facial expression, gestures, and pauses are form of non-verbal communication. Now, communication is divided into 2 parts, verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Now, it's a very interesting fact that verbal communication is only 35% of the total communication, whereas 65% of the communication is non-verbal communication. So you see, non-verbal communication becomes very important part of effective communication. And facial expression, gestures, and pauses, they emphasize the message which has been delivered. Like pauses not only boost attention, but it also helps comprehending and retention of the time and the message. And the facial expressions can convey feelings of the presenter. The gestures can speak what you are feeling. So these are really very important because these are a way of like your body speaks, your face speaks without words. So this is extremely important for effective communication.
And ma'am, in the present age, when the internet is rage of the day, and this internet and even the social media, have they made any changes in the way we communicate in terms of the quality or quantity or even style for that matter? Does any of these things affect the way we communicate now?
Yes, the development of internet and social media has definitely changed the way we communicate. It has drastically changed. So people are, now this is a digital world, people are using internet and social media. They are connected to each other far distances, and also there are specific jargons which are used in communication. So nowadays we see a new type of communication being in air, it is floating all over the world, which is the internet communication, which is very savvy and it's very popular among the youth.
And now tell me, I mean, there are plenty of people in the market who try to give you courses on communication skills and all. Do you think that the teenagers who are on the verge of sort of breaking free into the world with tons of their ideas in their minds will be benefited from these communication courses that are available in the market?
I believe that teenagers absolutely could benefit from communication courses, no matter what their academic interest or future career is. It will help them to make their life easier in many aspects, in personal life and in professional life. So I feel that teenagers should go for communication courses, which is very, very important for them.
And ma'am, do you think that having good communication skills or learning them properly help in interviews for, let's say, armed forces, that the Service Selection Board, or even IAS, banking, or even joining the corporates and any other UPSC interviews that we have? Do we need to have good skills to crack these interviews?
Good knowledge of communication skills surely helps in interviews for any career, be armed forces, be IAS, banking, corporates, or any. Basically, in interviews, you have to present yourself and you have to react in a particular situation and do the task. So when you present yourself and when you react to a situation, you need to communicate either in group or individually. So their communication skills plays very important role. So I think that if you are good in communication skills, you can crack these interview very well.
Well, ma'am, please tell us now, how do you advocate that, how should we improve our communication skills so that we can crack these interviews which are for armed forces, UPSC in India, or even the corporates?
In order to improve communication skills, to excel in the interviews, I suggest that students work on their voice and its tone. That's very important. Also, flow and command over the language. That's crucial. The way and the mannerism in which they present themselves. The body language, gestures, eye contact, these are very important because it helps in presenting yourself in a better way. Above all, you have to remember is to be a good listener, because remember I told you there's difference between hearing and listening. So you have to be a good listener to respond and react to the message which has been delivered, because message is delivered for a purpose. So if you are a good listener, you can absorb the message and then you can react accordingly. So I think these are few of the things that a student needs to take care of. In my training session, I am going to deal in details to all these. So hopefully it will benefit the students. And I'm really thankful to you, Mr. Vijay, to give me opportunity to present my views on communication skills.
Okay, ma'am, thank you very much for your time, and I'm sure our viewers must have been benefited, and thank you very much for coming to us and speaking to our youth who are with us in our group. And on their behalf, I thank you, and we hope to see you more often again. And okay guys, ma'am has told you a lot of things, and out of these, it is not only listening to her and noting down, it is also practicing whatever techniques she has taught you. And for the practice, I will make a plan. The Zoom meetings that we conduct every day for this particular aspect, we will try to modify their contents, and we will make you practice all that. So maybe in next 1 month or 2 months time, your speaking skills improve, and then you start speaking like an expert English speaker. I hope that happens very soon. And whenever you go for any interviews for armed forces, that is the service selection board, or even for the corporates, or for any UPSC interviews, you're definitely benefited. And not only interviews, even your day-to-day life, when you're communicating with somebody in the market, in the malls, in the trains, or anywhere, you put up a better impression by speaking good English. And later on, maybe when you're communicating with the foreigners for your business interests, for your research interests, for your studies interests, you always fare better. And maybe if you want to appear in IELTS or TOEFL or such exams for going abroad, you get benefited. So I hope that happens very soon, and we'll make sure that you are better persons, you speak better. And for now, thank you very much, and Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.